ミリオンズナイブスという名前は聞いたことあるかい？第三都市、ジュライ。そこに奴はいる。
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering the anime that actually premiered in 2023, Trigun Stampede.
This anime was one of the new series to release on Crunchyroll in the first month of 2023. And it's a reboot or prequel of the original 1990 anime Trigun, but also works as its own show, and much to the surprise of everyone, including us, it was a smash hit.
Yes, but before we start that, be sure to like, subscribe, click the notification button on future podcasts, and we'll pause videos.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us again. We first learned about the original Trigun from a friend of ours on Twix, X, Cold.
Yes.
And he posted art about it and would mention it.
Yes.
And then Rascal found out about Trigun Stampede.
Yes.
And how did I learn she found out about it? Because suddenly there was all this artwork
of the show
of Bash. And I said, this has to be her new crush.
No.
What is this about? And then I said, you know, I'm interested in seeing that Trigun Stampede. When you think you could watch it? I've already been watching it. How many episodes have you watched? 7.
7, yes.
The new crush always lets me know what the next series is going to be.
That's hilarious. And we actually had heard about the reboot at the beginning of the year, but when it was out, we had no idea what it was, so it really wasn't on our radar. We were watching High Card, Blue Lock, new season premieres. We were watching other things at that time and didn't know what the heck this was. So while it was airing, and Buddy Daddy, so while it was airing, we didn't really pay attention to it. We just saw people who had watched it or watched the original were talking about and loving it, and some of the people that had worked on either version were talking about it, and that was it. And it was pretty quiet about it all the way up till near the end of the year when it started trending again, and then both the original and the remake, so people were actually watching both. So finally decided to just go and see what it is, and because they used to be having recommended it, and it actually ended up being way different than I expected. And then it's like, okay, Mom's gotta see this now.
Yes. And I saw the first episode, and it was one of those that absolutely fall in love with first episode.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more, and I kept begging to see more. We had a little break, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we got back into it, and we got to finish it, and I can't wait for season 2. And I hate what happened to Vash.
Oh.
And I hate the end.
Dang you.
But I love this series.
Yes.
And I can see why it's this, I guess you can say this reboot or reimagining, I should say, is beloved.
Yeah. And the thing about it is no one really expected this to be good, because usually they do these reboots or remakes. Sometimes it's like a roll of the dice. Sometimes it'll turn out to be great. Sometimes it's horrible. And depending on who does it, if they love the property or not. Well, clearly for this show, they loved the original. And people that never watched Trigun, the original show, watched this, and it blew up in popularity. There was ended up being lots of fan art of people talking about each episode, the characters, the voices, the main lead. They actually started going back and watching the original because of it. So this is usually a sign of when you make a good reboot or reimagining, when it's so good that you get people interested who never watched the original to watch the original.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Trigun like we weren't, it's a manga series written by Yasuhiro Naito. And this particular series of reimagining is animated by Orange, directed by Kenji Muto, and produced by Katsuhiro Takai. And Crunchyroll, as far as we know, is exclusively available on there, and it's a 12-episode season.
Yes. And it was surprisingly short, but the original was twice as long, go figure.
Now for the voice cast. We learned and hear that Johnny Young Bosch returned as Vash. I did not know this. Rascal did not tell me, so she made a same voice actor video. So I heard him as Ichigo, knew that. heard him as
9.
9 and knew that. And then all of a sudden I see this character pop up from Trigun Stampede, Vash. Because I said, that voice sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, just wait, you'll find out. And that is not who I thought it was. I would have been a million years Bosch. There's no way I thought this was Johnny Young Bosch. And I went around for 3 days just in awe and amazed that this is the voice of this character.
Twice!
I did hear David Matranga as Wolfwood.
Yes.
I knew him as soon as I heard him.
Yes.
And then you told me that Austin Tyndale was Millions 9.
Yes, so they had quite a roster of VA stars for this.
Yes, and great cast, absolutely fantastic cast, and I can see why they would want to get Johnny Young Bosch to do Vash again. The interesting thing is we started on the original Trigun, and the voice for this version is different from the original.
Right.
And so I guess he made adjustments based on the looks and the personality of this particular version, and both voices fit perfectly.
Right.
And another thing that really stuck out, speaking of voices, we should say names, and the parody names or flat out naming of stars for the characters in here is absolutely hilarious.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I never really realized, I only caught 2. I didn't know all of them were parodies. And the 2 biggest ones, and not knowing it was a running joke, was Meryl Streep and Roberto De Niro. And it was like, what's, it's like, what?
Well, Meryl's having a lot of stripes, so the name fit. And then they have Zazie the Beast, and I said, that's Zazie Beats. Oh my gosh. And then they just right out name a character William Conrad. And when I saw it, I said, okay, this was a real actor who played Nero Wolf and Cannon, and I know because our Nana used to talk about him and how she loved him as an actor. I'm like, okay, this is funny.
Yes.
You just...
and the one that stumped me the most, I thought wasn't anything besides Vash's name, was Nicholas D. Wolfwood. It's like, okay, I don't think it's a parody on anything. And then you told me,
I said it's Leonardo DiCaprio.
like, oh gosh, if you put in the D, that's the name. But people stop saying the D
And
because
you
of the
also
jokes.
were confused by Legato Blue Summers.
Yeah, I was like, what's
No, not Legato Blue Summers.
It was Levito.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
Levito.
I'm like, it's Danny DeVito. So if you know who Legato Blue Summers is, or Rim Savarum, but there's a puns for it, let us know in the comments below.
Right.
But that is brilliant. Every single character. Vash the Stampede, and I told you that was
Vlad somebody, right?
Vlad the Impaler I thought about.
And I guess the difference is he's the reverse of that. That one took out everybody. He doesn't want to harm anyone.
Right.
So.
But this is just an amazing anime. It is not a bright star. It's a star. I'm sorry. It's not a bright star. It's the shining star.
Shining star.
Yes.
Yes. And in just 12 episodes, they told a pretty great story. I guess your only complaint would be you wish that there were more episodes before the end. And when they have it start in the beginning, it's supposed to parallel how the original show had, where it starts off with very humorous episodes with some action and then gets more serious towards the end. Well, since it's only half the length, they only have the first 2 episodes be more comedy based, and then the 3rd episode, it's like SpongeBob when it went dark, and it just like night just slams down, and it goes incredibly dark, and there's bounty hunters everywhere. His brother shows up, almost kills everybody, and then it just stays like that almost the rest of the show. And it's like, okay, I wish we kind of got at least one more episode of the goofy comedy, everyone trying to hunt him part before then, just one more, and then that probably would have been more of a setup. But that's really the only complaint I had.
Now, the biggest takeaway from this, before we get to more of the plot and the season itself, is how this was the springboard for My Adventures with Superman.
Yes.
It's obvious as soon as you start seeing the characters, watching the beginning of the first episode.
Yeah.
It's like, and I remember you saying, I've seen online that they say this is what inspired my adventures with Superman.
Yeah.
Let's see. As soon as you see it, yes, 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 yes,
So,
yes.
so Vash is Superman technically.
Yes.
That's what I say. Come with the tale. My adventures with Stampede. That's pretty much it.
Even down to his red coat that flies out like a cape.
Yes.
Because in the original, he's got a belted
Right.
trench coat.
And
This flows like a cape.
Yes, it's hilarious. And they got to tell Meryl being a reporter, find the news on this guy. And what they have it with the parallel from the original is that they know about this guy. He's supposed to be a famous outlaw, and he has the nickname Humanoid Typhoon. And means wherever he goes, there's always trouble or tragedy.
And a $60 million man.
Right. And they think he's the one causing all this crap every time he goes into town. So he's got this bounty. And the whole joke is that everyone's hunting him and trying to find him so they get the reward. So every bounty hunter on the planet wants to find him. And then you get to him, they're thinking he's ruthless and maniacal. And he turns out he's a pacifist. He's a doofus. He eats a lot of donuts. And he doesn't like blood. And he's kind. And it's like, this is nothing how you described him.
Oh my gosh. It is just, it's brilliant. And then you can see in the new version, I should say, Stampede, that
Yes.
we're watching, you can see inspiration or references to other anime like Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes, definitely. And even a little bit of the original Superman in there. We know My Adventures copied this, but there's actually hints of Superman in there. So I guess they kind of saw him as that character.
And
That's how they modernized it, I guess.
And he is. And this is brilliant and funny and serious and dramatic.
Oh, yeah, we
and
got
scary and nail biting and beautiful to look at and a hot character is me, MC, and a favorite ship now. And it's so
oh my
much
god!
going on
Okay.
for this.
12 episodes of this, right? And okay, that brings up two more things we definitely gotta bring up. First would be Millions Knives. And we have to because, yes, they do the evil twin thing in here. And the thing they set up for this is that Knives is the reason why all these towns keep getting destroyed and there's tragedy. They think it's Vash killing people and it's not. Knives doesn't like that he wants to help people, and you find out why in the show, no spoilers. And every time he finds them in a town, he decimates it or wipes out everybody, and he never wants them to find. He's constantly been running away from him, get as far away as possible, and he always finds him. So that's one of the darker parts of it. And then you try to find out, why is he so intent on finding him? Why is he taking these plants from these towns? You find out later, and the people kind of had it like, oh, he just cares about his brother, and it's like, are you watching another version of the show?
Because the one I'm watching, he couldn't care a flip about him.
And he was
and
like,
that was proven in the second to the last episode.
You're right. So I was like, no, this is not what you think it is.
No.
And that's how it keeps that more serious tone with lots of bits of humor put throughout the show, because they kind of need it with how serious it gets. And the second thing, which you brought with the ship, it became a running joke for us as we were watching
and what's the name of the ship?
It's really easy. It's Vash Meryl. It's just the names.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. It's like, they didn't really think much. With the ship, and it became a running joke for us.
It should be MASH.
Duh! Because they have mashed wood for all three, but not mashed. Go figure. It became a running joke for us when we watched it, and at first I was like, no, maybe I'm seeing things because, people have ships all the time. It's like commonplace now regardless of who they are. And since this is a parallel of Superman, maybe that's just a little inference. After like the first 2 episodes, they do the Lois and Clark parallel, and I said, okay, do you see, and before I could even get it out, I said, this is like that scene from Adventure with Superman where they're looking at each other like, yes, that's it, and someone had the picture. And then the whole thing is that she's sent a reporter in this version, she's sent to get an interview with him, and it really do mean
get that interview.
Right. Get the interview to find out why is he such this famous idol, or clear his name. That was the whole reason for the two of them being sent there.
Sure.
And when she first meets him, he looks like he's psycho. And no one looks crazy like that, and he looks crazy like that for a minute. And after the first 2 episodes, actually does get the interview and find out about knives and everything. To find out, okay, he's not doing this. So at first, like, okay, so you have your info, so they can go now. Well, things happen, they have to stay longer. But then it's like 6 episodes in, she's still there. And even the guy, Roberto, said, we have enough for like 10 articles. We can go whenever we want. And she was disappointed. Like, what do you mean leave? Like, what did you expect?
That's a $60 million.
$6 million.
He's a $60 billion.
$60 billion.
Man.
Yes. And the whole joke was like, she interviewed him multiple times, I guess off screen. And it said, how many interviews do you need? She does this so much. Is that all this information? Are you making an article, a paper? Are you writing a documentary for him? How much more info do you need on this guy?
Get that in?
Yes, that became a running joke. Like, how many interviews do you need with him? Like, you do it in private or what? And that became the whole joke the whole time, to a point where when they tried to leave, she was trying to convince him not to leave. They keep following him. And it's like, and he's like, why? We have enough. And then he figured it out, like, oh, I see, you got swept up by him already, didn't you? So that became the whole thing, and we weren't even sure it was a ship completely until like the last episode. Like, okay, well, there's your answer.
Right.
Because we ended up finding out for the original, for Vash, they called him a womanizer. He was like Brock. He liked every girl he saw, just about, which I guess for the update they couldn't really do that now, so you didn't even know if he was interested in people in general until the end.
I absolutely love this, and again, can't wait for season 2. This is, it stands out from everything.
This was that goofy animation when they're all running,
Yeah.
spastic, all that.
So, we want to know, have you seen either Trigun Stampede, or have you seen the original Trigun series?
Right.
Trigun, I keep saying gun, is gun. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We learned that the original came out in 1998, a full year before Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
So now we know Cowboy Bebop was inspired by Trigun itself.
Yes.
So that was pretty interesting to know. Tell us all the dirt you got, anything you want to know, all the pun names. Tell us which one you like better. Tell us which Vash do you prefer.
Right.
We want to hear everything in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, it's available on Crunchyroll to watch. I think exclusively right now.
I think also on Hulu, since they have some
it's
anime
not
now
exclusive,
too.
So it's Hulu and Crunchyroll. You owe it to yourself to watch this. You are missing out big if you don't. Regardless of the type of genre you think are your favorites, this is going to become one. This anime is going to become one. These characters are going to become favorites. And you're going to wonder what took them so long to get this out.
Right.
But be sure to watch it. Come back and let us know what you think.
Yes. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates of videos, your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And if you are on Twix, then you know that the biggest thing is the fan art. And there was one in particular we thought was hilarious. So someone said about Vash's looks and things.
It said they had no right to make him this hot in the remake. And people were like, but I agree.
But there's so much fun fan art that is absolutely
and comics
amazing
and everything,
and beautiful. And if you watch My Adventures of Superman, you need to watch this so you can see all the parallels for what's going on in that series.
Right.
Especially between Lois and Clark. Because, yes, this definitely inspired My Adventures of Superman, without a doubt.
Yes.
And if you want us to cover a favorite anime, a series, a manga, western, animation, let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for supporting us and subscribing to us. We really appreciate you more than you know. You're awesome.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And a Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.